Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. Thanks for everyone who liked our last videos and for subscribing to us. If you want to see more of all of our family, then you can follow Taylor on Instagram. I don't have Instagram because I never go on social media. But yeah.
Yeah, so today I think we just want to do one of these types of vlogs where we sit down and just kind of talk. And yeah, we'll probably have to grab Violet here and there because she's just still awake. It's kind of late. It's 8 o'clock, almost 8 o'clock here. So, but yeah, the kids are in bed, so we thought we'd jump on here and start talking. Casey's back now. We got Violet to sleep.
Yep.
Finally. But
On to Violet.
yeah, so after Milo, we thought we were done. We were like, we're done. Like, we know we're not having any more kids. And we both said it. We were like, we can't do it again. And then Milo was like over a year, and then we were like,
I think you work in daycare and then us planning our wedding, finally like settling down together. We're like, let's have another. We want to have another. We want a girl.
yeah. But we weren't ready yet. We were like, we want to get married. And
We want to get married, but we're like, we want to. Like,
yeah.
Let's do it.
So we were like, let's just wait and let's get married and then get pregnant and whatnot. And it ended up happening before we wanted to. Our bodies just knew we wanted to have another baby.
Yeah.
But it ended up happening, and I was doing home care. Sorry, let's move this. I was doing home care, like home child care in our house. So once we found out, we got married, once we found out we were pregnant with Violet, I was like, well, I guess I gotta go back to work.
Yeah.
So in 2019,
We got married in September.
and I think we were pregnant.
October.
It was October, I think, yeah.
And then we had a reception in November. So
Yeah.
you were already pregnant before our reception.
Yeah, I was so sick. Like, Violet's pregnancy was by far the worst. Like, I feel like it just got worse every single time.
They
like,
say
like,
you're supposed to gain weight when you're pregnant, like even a little bit. Taylor lost at least 20 pounds plus.
no, I lost almost 40 pounds.
Yeah,
Like, it was so rough. But, like, Violet, I couldn't keep anything down. Like,
anything.
that's why we suspected that she was a girl, because her pregnancy was so different. Like, for, like, and, like, all the wives' tales or whatever, like, the wives' tales, like, they were literally spot on with her pregnancy. But at the beginning, I was so sick. Like, I literally couldn't even get out of the bathroom. Like, I was just puking.
Like, the only thing that would help you was ginger ale, and you drank so much ginger ale that you puked it all so much that you couldn't drink. You can't even drink ginger ale now.
Yeah,
just because
it's
you
so
threw
gross.
up so much.
I know, and like, it was so rough because like I couldn't even take care of the kids. Like, I was just so sick. I was like in and out of the hospital, and this time around I was like, everybody was like raving about like the midwives, and one of my friends, Tanya, she was like, you should get a midwife because like you're crazy after you have a kid. And like that care at like the 6 weeks after is just like, I would definitely benefit from that. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna apply, like, well, I'll see what goes. And I don't know what the difference is of what you can and can't do with a midwife versus an OB. I just know that like we preferred the midwife, the personableness, and like
You build a relationship with them, and it's very nice because they will help you through anything you're going through, emotionally, physically, and just take care of you mentally.
Nice, and, like,
it's very helpful.
And like you just feel like it's just like you're not rushed through things and whatnot. But I didn't know, like, I should be telling my midwife that I was so sick. And anyways,
You just thought that, midwives probably hear it 24/7, so it's like, you
You're
just
fine.
do this.
Just
You're fine. You'll get through it.
But I ended up going to the hospital, I don't know, like basically weekly.
Yeah.
It was like weekly to get fluids because I would be like so dehydrated. Like I would get all dizzy, and then Casey would drive me to the hospital or whatever, and I'd go and they'd be like, you are so dehydrated, and then they'd have to give me like a couple bags of fluids, and then they'd be like, okay, and then I would feel so much better, but like I couldn't keep anything down. Like I lost almost 40 pounds.
And that was at the beginning of your pregnancy, and then like COVID happened, and then you were stuck inside being sick, not able to do anything.
Right. It sucked so I enjoy my body when I'm pregnant the most, like out of
self-reflective, you are 100% happier when you're pregnant.
Like
you love yourself.
Yeah. Like I just like dance in front of the mirror and I'm just like, yeah, this.
You don't give a shit what anyone thinks about you.
No.
Like you're so happy.
Anyways, she like kicked my butt, and then like I was sick throughout my entire pregnancy. Like there was not a week where I went not feeling like
even
not
even the last couple of days, you were 3 days overdue or whatever, and you were still puking before you went to the hospital. Like it was awful.
Yeah.
You're puking in the bathtub when you were in labor. Like right before you were in labor.
Yeah, well that's
non-stop sickness.
That's a normal.
And that took a toll on your mental health and your body too.
Anyways, so then COVID happened in March, and we were the first ones to go off. Like they closed us down first, and
schools and shit. Yeah.
And schools, yeah. So they so I was home immediately after that, and Corona at that time, like it was just fresh, right? So like nobody knew what
was going on.
Nobody knew how it affected pregnant women, so like we were all terrified. And like I have this heart condition, so I was like, I don't know if this is does this make me high risk? And people were saying yes, people were saying no, so it was just hard, and like so it like put a lot of fear. But Casey and I just stayed home, and Casey was still working through it, obviously, so like I just stayed home with the boys, and we just spent the whole summer, which was so nice. Let me tell you, it was so nice to be able to just kind of like relax through my pregnancy. I felt like I was just like so tired on top of your pregnancy tired, because you just go when you're working. So like when I was in my second trimester and my third trimester, it was just so nice to be home with the boys and like enjoy their presence. And
I think it was like a week before we started hearing about the coronavirus around the world, and Taylor would just say, I just want to have some time off. I don't want to work anymore. I wish they would just write me off.
Regardless, I continued going to see my midwife, who is wonderful, and all the midwives there. And it was scary. Like, it was a scary time because I get anxious going to like appointments in general. Like,
you get anxious driving.
Yeah, I get anxious driving. I'm an anxious person. So like I'd make Casey drive me to my appointments pre-COVID. And like, so he would drive me to the appointments anyways, and like then I would have to like call in the car, and it was just like, I don't know, like I felt like it took away from a lot of like the midwife experience for like from then on. But anyways, so we it was on July 18th. This is the most fresh one, so like I feel like I have remember everything and I can like relay the events of it. But on the 18th, I like remember I like kept having like this weird TMI. I had like this weird like stuff coming out of me, like discharge or whatever, and I kept thinking it was my waters that broke.
Or your mucus plug.
Yeah, or whatever. So I called my midwife, and I was just like, I just don't know, like it's kind of like a gush coming out, like I don't know if that's like my waters, because like with Calvin, like we definitely knew like it was a full-on like huge splash like in the movies, but like they always say that it's not always like that, and I was like worried, but it ended up not being that. But she was just like, just monitor it and everything like that. So then that was like at dinner time. And then we put the kids to bed, and I was like, this isn't the night. And I was getting so impatient. Like both the boys were early. Like Calvin came a week early on his own, and she being my third, of course she wanted to be late because she is a girl. And so I think it was 10 o'clock at night, and I ended up having like contractions. Like I went from 0 to like painful and contractions, but I'm pretty sure I had back labor.
Yeah.
because like it was like all in my back. I had no pain in my front at all. It was all in my back, and like I started like immediately getting nauseous and throwing up. That's when I knew I was like in labor, because I was like, okay, so Casey was sleeping and Calvin was in our bed, and I went upstairs at 10 o'clock and like I'm having like what I think is contractions, and like I'm just not feeling well and blah blah. So then I ended up going in the bath, and I was like just laying in there, and then they started getting worse in the bath, and like they're supposed to, if they're Braxton Hicks or if it's not real labor, they're supposed to get better. Like it's supposed to kind of go away. Like it can make them go away. So they were getting worse, and I'm laying there, and I was like, okay, I should probably wake Casey up, because like I want him to help me through labor. So I woke him up, and I was like, actually, can you just bring Calvin to bed? So he brings Calvin to bed, and at this point I was like, I'm not thinking about anything, and looking back, I probably should have called like our midwife at that time. Like I probably should have called and been like, hey, like just so you know, I think I'm in labor, just so if you get a call tonight to come.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about it. Again, I didn't really know. And my parents ended up being camping, and so then I was in labor, and I was up on the couch, and I couldn't get comfortable. The only comfortable thing was when I was like bent over, like standing up and like swaying, and like I wasn't even that far along, like centimeters wise. Like at that point I obviously didn't know, because I was home.
You're probably like millimeters.
No. But I was shaking, and I was so nauseous, and then I kept getting in and out of the bath. Like I think I had probably 5 baths from 10 p.m. to like
emptied our water heater, and you literally just laid in the bath.
And I would just lay there.
Just all night.
Yeah, and then I would just like breathe, and they weren't consistent, which is kind of weird, because they're usually, you're supposed to like time them, and they're supposed to be consistent. So like all of these labor things, like I was like, some were coming like 6 minutes apart, some were coming like 3 minutes apart, some were coming 2 minutes apart, but they were kind of intense. Like I was shaking, and like they ended up starting to be like so bad that I like couldn't talk through them, and I was like, okay, maybe I should call. And then Casey was like, she's shaking. So Casey ended up calling my midwife, because I was like,
almost 5 a.m. I remember, and then I called Cassidy, and she's like, yeah, pack your bags, let's go, and we need to go to the hospital because of your fastest labor with Calvin, then we should go to the hospital now, because you might pop out the baby in the bathtub, so let's go.
So everybody thinks that because like Calvin was so quick, that we were prepared to have like a quick labor.
Plus it's your 3rd child. Normally the more children you have, the
right
easier it is.
So,
but that was the opposite, because Violet is a stubborn girl.
She was stubborn. So we get to the hospital at like 6 o'clock. It was right before 6 o'clock. We dropped the kids off at my aunt's and my cousin's house. We dropped the boys off, and then we went to the hospital. And with COVID, like I have to go up and get assessed, and like so she checked me. She's like, yeah, you're 4 centimeters, and I was like, I'm only 4 centimeters. Oh my gosh, like this is. And I was trying to do it naturally, like completely without anything, and I was like, oh gosh. So then she was like, well, you went quickly, so I'm gonna keep you here, because we don't know like how quickly you could progress. So we stayed. She admitted me. Then Casey came up, and I was in labor for what felt like forever, from 10 p.m. on the 18th
at 6 a.m.
We went to the hospital at 6 a.m. So I labored at home from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. 5:30, because we left at like 5:30.
Got to the hospital at 6
and
until
she still wasn't born until almost 3 o'clock, just before 3 p.m. And like I was like dead set on I'm not against an epidural, because like, you know, I had them with both the boys and they were great. I had no issues after or during or anything.
But you just wanted a natural birth. You said you
didn't want
drugs.
I just wanted to go home right after. Like I was like, I just don't want to stay at the hospital with all the noises. Like I don't sleep well. I just want to go home with my baby, and it's COVID and whatnot. Anyway, so I was like trying to push myself not to get the epidural, and it was like noon, and my wife was like, she kept saying, okay, I think maybe we should break your water, like it'll progress you quicker, and then the baby's gonna come out like fast, like I think you're gonna go quick right after. And I was like, I can't, it's gonna be hurt, it's like this hurts so bad. And I was like stuck at 6 centimeters for like ever. It felt like forever. And like I kept swearing at Casey, and I was like, I can't do this. And I was like, I just want the epidural. But they had to call the anesthesiologist, and they were coming from out of town.
That took like half hour to an hour.
I don't know how long it was.
I think it was about an hour.
Literally had my head in my pillow like this, or I was sitting on the ball on the edge of the bed, and I literally didn't move or open my eyes the whole time. I think the whole day I don't think I opened my eyes very much.
No, just after she was born, then your eyes were open, but that was it.
Well, when I got my epidural, but it was like noon, and she kept saying like, "Let's break your waters," and I was like, "It's gonna hurt so bad. I don't think I can handle it. I want the epidural so bad. Like, I don't want to do this without the epidural. I'm gonna go quickly.
We were
You
both
can do
like,
this."
I think you can do this. I'm like, Taylor, men, don't say this to your wife when she says she wants to do it naturally. When she says she wants the epidural, she wants the epidural. But I told her, I'm like, you wanted to do this without the epidural. You can do this.
And I was like crying. No, I wasn't crying, but I was like, I feel so stupid that I'm getting the epidural. I was just dramatic, but he ended up coming, and I just kept pushing myself not to get my waters broken because I didn't want her to come out without it. I was so scared, and looking back, I probably could have just done it because like that pain, it would have just been so quick and done and over with, but she tore me pretty bad, so I'm kind of glad that I got the epidural because I got the epidural at like 1 p.m.-ish.
And then I passed right out.
Yeah, Casey
at 1 o'clock.
fell asleep.
Well, you were falling asleep too, so I'm like, do you know what, prime opportunity, I'm gonna have a nap because I've been up all night with you.
Not all night. I woke you up at like 1 a.m.
It doesn't matter. But I was up.
Sleep.
I was up, and I'm like, my adrenaline's going down, and I'm like, I can finally just have a little tiny rest. I passed out, and I woke up to Taylor's midwife nudging me on the shoulder. She's like, okay, she's pushing. Let's go.
No, she's ready to push. I was not pushing yet.
You were basically pushing.
Well, she's just like this little thing, and so we were like, Casey had to help me because I couldn't feel anything, and so the epidural like only worked, and then I could still feel like the tip of my contractions. I could still feel those. So like at that point, I was just like, this sucks because now I can't even move into like a good position. Like to labor, and I'm still getting this pain, like ouch, like this sucks. And then they ended up fixing the epidural, and then it was fine. But since they fixed it, like I could not feel anything. I couldn't move my legs on my own, which sucked because with Calvin I could move my legs and I could move my body basically.
Yeah.
So then Casey ended up having to help move my body into it because they're just like, I'm obviously not a tiny person, so like they had to like lift my elephant legs up because your legs feel like an elephant when you have an epidural. So then anyways, she literally was just like, okay, I think you're ready to push, like let's do a practice push. I practice pushed, and she's like, okay, I think she's gonna come, and I think she's gonna come quickly. And with COVID, like they have to be like in full gowns and like full like everything, and like she was like pushing, I was pushing, and like literally she came out in like one contraction, but she came out so fast after all that long labor, and she came out so fast, and she came out sunny side up, so like facing up. So she tore me pretty bad because I didn't have time to like really like stretch it and like make sure that I didn't tear, because she basically shot out at me. Like I didn't even have to push very hard. Like so grateful for that. And like it was just me and Casey and then the midwives at the hospital, and like it was just so peaceful. And like that hour after, like we're pretty jokestery, so like we were joking and like we were just like, oh, ready for another? It was kind of funny, and it was just so peaceful to have just Violet, even though she screamed the whole time and didn't settle, and like just
So that hour was like the best.
Yeah, like I think
It was a magical moment.
Yeah, out of all of them, it was just Violet was the best. So, I just have to like live with my memories and like myself, and so like this is kind of like how I'm gonna live with them. But yeah, it was just so nice to have a midwife that time around, and like she's just the sweetest thing, and like they're all sweet, but obviously I'm biased of the midwife I have.
But we've like related to her on a lot of levels. Like she had a kid, so we could talk to her about anything, and it just felt Taylor felt like she could open up to her and became so close.
Yeah, well, we still keep in contact sometimes, but yeah, it's just like kind of like if you're on the fence about it, like to me the difference in care They do basically everything. They just don't take high risk. They do basically everything that an OB does, and then some, because they stay in that room with you the whole time, and they're just so sweet. And if you have like a really good midwife and you have like built a relationship with them, like they stay with you that whole time, and they're there for you. And like the 6 weeks after, like they come to your house. And obviously with COVID, it made it kind of like crappy, and in a way that like they couldn't come as much, and like had to make, and but like highly recommend midwives. But it was just such like her birth, labor and delivery and everything was like just like one to remember, because it was so peaceful. And like obviously labor is hard, it's hard work, and
no, not for men.
Yeah, not for men. But I don't know, it's just like it was so nice and peaceful, and I just wish that I could go back and do it again. I know it sounds crazy, but it was just a nice moment, and like a peaceful moment with Violet and I. And then it comes over, and then you come home, and we left the hospital 2 hours after we had Violet, because I was like, peace out, get me out of here, I need out. And so we came home and saw the boys. And
well, they took the epidural out, and you can't walk, you can't sit up or anything by yourself, so they said as soon as you are able to go pee by yourself, then you can go. So they took your catheter out, and Taylor's like, okay, well, as long as you can go pee. So they all 4 of them around her holding her up, and Taylor took her to the bathroom. She couldn't pee, and so came back. Taylor's like, can I have water? And she drank like 2 full of those, looks like Wendy's large glasses of water, and into ginger ale.
I was like, I'm going pee, I'm getting out of here.
It wasn't even 10 minutes later, and she's like, rings the bell, and like, oh, I'm ready. I think I'm ready to go pee. She's like, oh, okay. Taylor went in, she went pee, and she came out. And I kind of noticed that she was limping a little bit, but I'm like, oh, she's fine. I thought it was just labor and that you were so sore or something.
I just wanted to go home. So I just wanted my own bed.
The girl there was so nice, and she's like, I think you should just stay. I don't think you should go home yet. We can help you with her. I just don't know if you're okay to go home yet. And Taylor's, I'm okay. I want to go home. I'm out of here. I just want to go sleep in my own bed. That's all I want.
They also all know me because some of them took care of me when I was a baby in the hospital. Yeah. So like, it's just kind of cool that like I'm in my hometown again, and
you're
they
famous.
I can't go anywhere in this town without somebody knowing me for something, either from my siblings or my parents. But it's just kind of nice because people take care of me. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, they said, don't leave yet. Or they said, you can go home. You're fine. So then Taylor and I are like, okay, packed up Violet. And then packed up our camera and all our bags, overnight bags. And we started on the way to the elevator. Got to the elevator, and I think we got halfway down the elevator. And you're like, I think you're going to need to help me in the van. I'm like, what? She's like, when we get there, you need to lift up my legs because they're both still kind of numb. So she lied to the nurses. Sorry, nurses at St. Thomas Hospital.
I just wanted to go home, and I was also just like so utterly exhausted, and probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm fine now.
We just wanted to go home and see our boys too.
Yeah, but it was such a peaceful experience, and I highly recommend to have a midwife, because then you don't have all of these nurses and doctors and everything coming in and out. You just have your 1 or 2 midwives, and they're in there. Which was so nice. It's just so much better for Casey and I. Like
1,000% recommend.
Yeah,
but
and like
2,000% recommend without COVID, because I think it would have been so much better too without COVID than going through all this stuff.
Right, and like the appointments and everything, and bringing the kids around. But sorry that this is so long, but
if you stuck around this long, then subscribe and like our stuff, and
yeah.
We'll be doing more fun stuff, but this was serious. We wanted to tell you guys more about our children and what Taylor and I went through to get these crazy crotch goblins into this world.
Okay. Goblins. Yeah, but we hope to do some more fun videos next time. We just wanted to do a more serious video so you guys can kind of like see where we have come from, and we'll do more serious videos, but next one's definitely going to be a fun one because
we'll have some fun.
Yeah.
We're done with being serious right now.
Yeah.
We're going to have some fun through COVID. So we'll probably see you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. And
we'll see you later, alligator.
Bye.